This video will be just a little bit longer than some of the others. I'm going to talk about configurations of this Start button down here, or what's on it. So, Start, we're going to look at the left segment, that center segment, that right segment, or the tiles, and look at configuring all three of those sections. Let's start with this left segment over here. These guys here. How can I change what's on here? And you notice that I said these are special folders. And I got account down here, settings, and power. But in between here are special folders. Well, I'll show you where we're going to do that. I'm going to click Start and go up to Settings here. I'm going to choose Personalization. Under Personalization, I'll go down to the Start, since that's what we want to do is the Start button. And it's not here, as you might guess. It is right here. Choose which folders appear on Start. And when I click that, you'll notice, well, there's the File Explorer and the settings and documents, and all those are on there, but I don't have, for example, music. I don't have my downloads, and I don't have my network. So let's turn those on, and then when I go down here, you'll see now there's music over here, network, downloads. I've got all those on here. So it's kind of a funny place to get to that right here. You may not notice it, but this little link right here goes to the left section. Now what about the center section over here, the apps themselves? Well, that happens to be right here. Just so we can document it, let's follow it again. I'm going to go to Start, Settings, Personalization, and then down to Start. And right here I can turn on and off those items. So for example, let's say that I don't want to show recently added apps, I don't want to show most used apps, and I don't want these suggestions. All right. Now when I click this, you'll notice I don't have the recently used apps, I don't have any suggestions, and so on. It just starts right in here with the alphabetical list of applications. All right, let's go back to our notes for a minute. We've looked at the left segment, the center segment, and now let's look at the tiles segment over here. This tile segment does have some settings that you can do to it. And how would I get to those? Well, as you can see, I'm not going to go to one of these settings areas. I'm going to do some clicking inside of it. So let's go back here, and I'm going to talk, let's see, let me take this systematically here. Oh, changing the size, pinning the taskbar, and then moving and grouping. So I just want to make sure I understood what order we had things over here. So let's talk about this sizing. You notice I got small ones, medium ones, I've got these kind of wide ones, and I have the big ones. Well, let's click any one of these and go to Resize. You'll see I can choose for that to be small, medium, wide, or large. Let's say I want the store to be small. Now there's the Microsoft Store. They used to call it the Windows Store, but now I have it in a small icon. We can resize it back to a wide icon if we wish, like we have. Let's talk about groups and folders. You see that these are all kind of grouped together here, and they have a title at the top of them. If I click that title there, I can change that title. If I move something, let's move one of these down here, you can see I'm on a new group. And now I've got a group that doesn't have a name until I click there. And let's say this is I'll just call it Notes, because that's where OneNote exists. And so now I have a new group here. There's also something called folders, and I don't have any folders showing right now, but let's make one. Let's say that I want my Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, all Office apps, in a folder by themselves. How would I do it? Well, I'm going to take one of these tiles and drag it over top of another one and let go. And now you see I have something that says Name Folder. So I'll say Microsoft Office. I'll call it that. So now I have a folder named Microsoft Office. And these two just look like they're in a group. But notice up here where I had it before, I just have this sort of up arrow there. And if I click that up arrow, you'll see that now those two are grouped into one tile. Well, I don't have PowerPoint in that, so let's take PowerPoint and see if we have to chase it around sometimes. See how it kind of gets bigger and smaller? If I wait till it gets bigger and then drop it in there. Now it's also part of that folder. I'll click this up arrow and you'll see that all three of them are crammed. So these are groups and this is a folder. So I'm in the Applications group, the Microsoft Office folder. So that's it for those. Tile groups, tile folders, how to move a tile around, and then right-click to change the size or unpin it from start. I can turn live tiles off and on. Let's say I don't want this thing to constantly move around like that. I can right-click it like that and go down to turn live tile off. There we go. And now it will just sit there, right, all by itself, and it won't be a live tile anymore. Let's go back to turn live tile on, and we'll turn it back into a live tile again. Live tiles are very handy for weather, news, things like that. All right, that's it for the configuration of the stuff on the Start button over here.